Thanks, G. So I'm Coach Cox. I'm entering my 16th year of coaching. This entering my second year as the defensive coordinator at Dodge City Community College. Before that, I was at Southeast Missouri State University, and a lot of the films and the cut-ups that I'm going to show you is from my time at Southeast Missouri State. That we just had more film to pull from. So the teach tape that I'll go through is from SEMO. However, I'm at Dodge City. And let me share my screen here. So the two questions that I'm asked the most is, why do you run a bear? And then the next question is, how do you defend? And then fill in the blank. How do you defend dart? How do you defend zone? So this is what I'm going to cover tonight. A lot of people are curious about it. It may not be for you, but we'll go through it. The first thing we'll talk about is the defensive structure overall. And this is what we look like against a 2x2 double set. We're a base cover 4 team. This is our stock alignment. We feel, and I'll tell you why we run this defense. One, we feel we can control the box with only 5 run defenders. We try to keep this box from tackle to tackle as consistent as we can. We have some other fronts. We'll play some other fronts, but we want this look as often as we can with it. There's 2 B gap defenders, so there is no conflict defender in the B gap. There is no second level or third level defender that defends an interior gap. And why is that important? It's for RPO. It's trickier to RPO us because we don't have a 50-50 player. There's not a guy who needs to fall into the B gap, but also be a defender in the curl or the flat. So by doing that, we can limit RPOs. You can't eliminate them. There's ways to do it, but it can certainly cut down on it. We play with 2 overhangs. So we have double leverage, and this means 2 different things. One, we have leverage, meaning an overhang to each side as force players. In a 4-2-5, a lot of times you'll be leveraged. You'll have an overhang to the field, not necessarily to the boundary. 4-3 teams, depending on how you play, you can play with double leverage. Could put you 1 in the box. It all depends what you like to do. The second thing of double leverage is if they crack our force player, we can crack replace with the safety. So at all times, we should have 2 force players as overhangs, and if an offense takes one of them out, we should be able to crack replace with the safety and keep our leverage. That's what we talk about with double leverage. In our structure, we have 3/2 at all times, or as best we can. These 3 over these 2, so we have a number advantage on the perimeter. College football, the game is played on the perimeter. It's trickling down to high school. A lot of the game is played out on the edge. It's not in the box. So we want to have a numbers advantage on the perimeter. In our front structure, these 5, again, can help control the box and give us numbers as often as we can. And then we base out of cover 4. We base out of quarters, which handles 4 verticals concepts. College football and a lot of offenses now, they want 4 verticals. They're looking for a way to get to it out of some formation. Cover 4 handles that fairly well. So the number one question we're asked is, why the bear versus a 4-eye? So when we talk about bear, this is what we're talking about. 2-3 techniques, 3-0-3. A lot of teams will play double 4-eyes. You'll hear tight front. You'll hear mint front. That's the front that a lot of guys play. We're similar. We have 2 B gap defenders, but they're in 3s. We play heavy on the guards. We want our hands on the guards at all times, and we'll talk about the reasons why. We stack our backers, put their nose on the shoulder of that guard. B4 alignment just means you're in the B gap at 4 yards. It's a 30 backer. Or we use that term interchangeably amongst the coaches, but we tell the kids B4, get in B gap at 4 yards. So why do we do it? One, being in a true bear, 3-0-3 is unique for the offensive opponent. We sometimes joke about it's like playing a triple option offense. You don't see it every week. It does force you to change. Offenses will often have to alter or adjust their base concepts. You have to block it differently. Every offense, the first box is over, the second box is under, the next boxes are variations of those. Most of the time, a bear front is kind of low on the list. You'll see it some, but you don't see it a lot. The double 3 techniques, having those guys heavy on the guards, forces limited blocking schemes, which makes it great for us. We don't have to worry about teaching multiple blocking schemes and multiple concepts. You can really only handle a bear a certain number of ways, and that's what we teach the kids. It's easier on the kids. It's very difficult for the O-line to cleanly release to the second level and get to the linebackers. And the linebackers are very protected in this defense. Example, specifically, what do we mean? So the difference between a 3 and a 4-eye. In a 3, you cannot block the backside backer versus gap schemes. You have to attach a tight end on the ball to run against this defense consistently, is what we found. So here with a 4-eye, you'll still get a down block, and they'll figure out a way. Most of the time, this guard can get clean. The nose can handle, the center can handle the nose. The guard can either chip, give hand help, and find a way to the backside, and they can cut off a 4-eye much easier on the backside. A lot of teams, they pull the guards. That's the guy they want. They can still get the guard cleanly pulled. If you play 3-0-3, you're still going to get a down block on the front side. But because we're so heavy on the guard with our hands, he can't cleanly release to this backside backer. We're going to put our hands on him and force him down. They can't pull the guard, which is the guy they want to pull. He comes with 4 eyes. These two will have this backer. These two will have this backer, and they can cut off the 4-eye very easily. Most of the time, it's some type of a combo between the guard and the center to the backside. Same thing with the guard and the tackle front side. Some teams will fold it. They'll block out and fold this guy around. So there's a lot of different schemes that teams can use when you play a 4-eye. You can split zone a 4-eye, kind of like a wham block. When you stay heavy 3s, they have to double. This bottom box is what we see 90-95% of the time on blocking inside zone. They double the 3s, they single the nose. By doing that, you can't immediately climb to the linebacker. You're buying us time. The other way to do it is they'll just wash everybody down. They'll just full zone it and try to wash everybody or kick everybody, and that's just a different set of problems. Outside zone, so we talk inside zone, same thing for outside zone. You can't cut off the 3 as easily. So as this play is flowing, this guy wants to cut back. He can cut back to B gap. As all these guys are flowing and it's elephants on parade, and he wants to stick his foot in the ground, he can wind up cutting back as a B gap defender. If you have the B gap covered, this offensive tackle can't just cut him off. He's really got to work for him. And if he can't get there, we may have penetration. But if he does get there, then we just move the ball 1 gap further on a cutback on outside zone. So for gap scheme, we like it because you can't cleanly release to the backside backer. Zone, we like it because you can't cut off a 3 as easily as a 4-eye. So big picture, that's why we like it. That's why we run it for those reasons. Now, specifically, I'm going to go through the install that we teach our inside backers, because some people have a lot of questions. Okay, I get that. How do you defend certain runs? Let's talk about how we defend it. The first thing we teach our kids in our scheme with our inside backers is to key step. And this is one of the fundamentals that we use that I don't think a lot of defenses use it. And I'm not saying that makes us right, but it fits well with our scheme. We teach a different step. We don't teach 6-inch read step. We don't teach run downhill. We tell them, if you imagine a line, they stay on the line and they key step. They stay on the level. We don't want them running downhill. We don't want them just taking off. Stay on the level. You have 900 pounds in front of you protecting you. You've got time to make a read. So with the key step, we teach them to get a wider base than normal, much like a tennis stance. So in tennis, you have to defend a serve coming 150 miles an hour. You have to be able to move any direction, left, right, forward, back, angle. And so this is the stance we use, kind of a tennis stance. It's wider than normal. You have a lean. And we tell them for the key step, have energy in your feet. You're not hopping. You're not alternating your feet. Some people I've heard say, hey, just buzz your feet. You still want your cleats in the grass. You want energy in your feet. And we tell them, just be patient until your responsibility is clear. We tell them, play fast, but don't be in a hurry. You've got time to read. This is an example of what we talk about when we teach a key step. Watch number 5. All we're looking at is number 5's feet. This is all we want to see. This is an example of a key step. Energy in his feet. His feet are wide. He has a good base. All we want is the footwork. He's not crossing over. He's not freaking out. Key step. have a base, have some energy, be square. You don't need to run downhill like a Dothraki warrior screaming. That's what the offense wants. They want to move you. Again, watch 5. All we're looking at is his footwork. Key step, patience. Key step, what's the read? Key step, where is the ball going? The ball's not declared. You shouldn't be going anywhere. So just looking at his footwork, that's an example of a key step. And we work this every day. Here, 33. 33's base. Again, wider than normal. That's okay. A lot of guys teach linebacker stances like they're squatting. They have too much weight on their heels. And when they do that, they split step or false step. Don't step backwards to go forwards. We want them right here. Light, energy in your feet. Key step. Look at 33's feet. Key step. Takes a lot to do. Takes a lot to get kids to this level. You have to do it every day, and emphasize it. And if you just forget and think, oh, they've got it, a couple of days later, they'll go back to bad habits. They'll go back to the years they've had. So that's the first thing we teach the inside backers is a key step because it holds their water. Now, specifically for the run fit. So again, bear, this is what we mean when we talk about bear. 2-3 techniques and a 0. Outside shoulder of the guard, heavy on the guard. The inside backers are at B4. They put their nose on the shoulder of the guard. We put their toes at 4. We say toes versus heels. It's just easier for the kids to look at their feet. They kind of know where their toes are. It's quicker to do. We tell them, put your nose on the shoulder of the guard. B4, just a 30 backer. This is what they're looking at. This is their eye progression. We tell them to read the tandem. This is the tandem. The space in between these two people is where they're looking at. That's their tandem. Oops, froze up a little. We tell them to read your tandem to the back. You read 1 to 2. We do this so we don't miss pullers as often. I've done it where you have eyes on the back and you have to see the action and the flow in front of you. A lot of kids can look at a back, but they can't see the action in front of them. They miss pullers. They miss subtleties. Again, the front protects you when you run 303. You can key what these two guys are doing. Are they coming together? Is it full zone? Is it some type of a pull? Look 1 to 2, the initial block to where the ball is going, and then you can make your decision on how you fit and where you go. Again, for us, we have 900 pounds sitting here. No one is coming to block you. You don't need to feel nervous, and it takes kids a while to get it. Our base fits. When we talk about our bear fits with our kids, our base fits is open A, cut back C. That is your responsibility until there's only 2 things that take you off of those fits. And those will be later on. But this is your base fit. Open A, cut back C. What does that mean? Here it is. Your fit is based on the offset running back. What we tell them is if the back's away, I'm open A. If the back is to me, I'm cut back C. Didn't mean it to rhyme, but that's just how it worked out. So this is the pre-snap. We line up, there's an offset back. Right now, we know what our base run fits are going to be. If there's a run and I have an open A gap, we're going to hit it. Most of the time, 90+% of the time, it's front side A. Rarely is it back side A, just because most people are going to try to cut the nose off, inside zone, outside zone. We don't see a lot of guys trying to back block this guy and come downhill. If he did, we would still take the open A gap. Open A, and then if the back's to me, I'm cut back C. When they're running zone, and this guy wants to jump cut, he's going to jump cut to this guy. He doesn't need to go anywhere. He's got B gap covered. He's got 2 A gaps covered. He can track the ball and be patient, and if it cuts back to him. If they tick the back, meaning if they move him, here he is pre-snap, then he jumps over here, just changes to the second box below. Now I'm open A and I'm cut back C. That's all it is. So the run fits don't change based on the offset back. Open A, cut back C. This is pictures of how it fits just against zone read, which is the top concept we see inside zone. Again, this is how most teams block it against us. They double the 3 and single the nose, and this is how it fits. They're running it to a tight end. It doesn't matter. I'm open A, I'm cut back C. If you go to box C, the tight end of the back are on the same side. He's running to the open end. Your fits don't change. I'm looking for open A. most likely front side A, and then I'm still a cutback C player. The C gap is more defined with the tight end sitting there, but it's still the C gap. So it doesn't matter if there's a tight end to you or away, take him out of the equation. You're fitting open A and cutback C. So examples of it. 51's the open A player. 5's the cutback C player, based off the back. The back's away, I'm open A. The back's to me, I'm cutback C. I'm just going to run it. 51 fits A gap, goes cutback right to 5. Right now, he's looking for open A. Here's the A gap. He's taking it. He's holding his water, key stepping. If it cuts back or washes, it cuts back right to 5. Base fits based off the offset back. Open A, cut back C. That's all the inside backers are worried about. They're not worried about who's force. They're not worried about any of that. They just run their fits. Open A, cut back C, based off the back. The film's a little wide, but this is one of the better open A reps you're going to get because it triggers immediately. See the window, fill the window. So the backer to the left is open A. The backer to the right is cut back C. At the snap of the ball, what do? They double, they single the nose, and here comes open A. There's nobody to block him. If he reads it correctly and triggers correctly, it's a TFL, or at least a 0 gain. Open A, there it is. Go get it. It should look like a blitz, and that's why this is one of the best reps. He saw it open, and he attacked. Open A. The cutback C defender, he's patient. If this guy decided, oh shit, here he comes, and wants to cut it back, we have a cutback C defender. He's doing a good job. He's not freaking out. He's not running somewhere. He's key stepping and following his reads. Great rep here. Open A. See the window, fill the window. Beats the guard before they can combo off of it. Now you have a tight end attached. Does not change the read. It's based off the back. Backs away, I'm open A. Backs to me, I'm cut back C. Build the wall. Right here, 51's going A. 5 is key stepping for cutback. If he jump cuts right to 5. If he goes front side to front side C, there's the DB. Just do your part. A gap, C gap. If he pushes front side, we have somebody for that. We've built the wall. Here's your B gap player. A, B. This guy's C. This guy's C. Let him run into it. If you fit it correctly, they should have nowhere to go. If is always the key word. If you can do it correctly, they should have nowhere to go. And that's true of any scheme. Here it is. The back is to the same side of the tight end. Here's my C gap right here. So open A, backs away, backs to me, I'm cut back C. Watch 51. 51 squeezes himself into C gap. That's his gap. If it cuts back further to D gap, we have somebody for it. The guy making the tackle. But he has to fit C gap. He can't presume, oh, I can't get through there. I'm just going to go here, because then the back's going to cut it right through C. Fit your gap. Open A, cut back C. Doesn't matter where the tight end is. Just run your fit. Open A, cut back C. If it bounces a gap behind you, we have a safety and an outside backer in this particular set to handle it. So that's a good job. Squeeze yourself into C gap. What if there is no open A gap? What if it's cluttered? What if there's a blocking scheme or the nose gets washed into it? Don't go into the gap. We tell them cloudy clear. If there is no open A, don't just run down into a pile. Stay on the level, stay key stepping, and fall back to the ball. Watch 19. 19's your open A player. A gap is gone. He stays on the level and then falls back to the football. 19, open A player. Key step, fall back to the ball. Don't just bury yourself down into the jungle. Don't just run into that mess. If it's cloudy, don't go. There is no window. Don't just run down in here looking for an A gap. 6 is cut back C. He's doing a great job. 19's feet are right on that line. Then he can fall back to the football. It's a question a lot of people ask. What if there is no open A? Then just stay on the level and fall back to the ball. Don't run down into the jungle where you're going to get picked off or caught in the trash. What if it's pistol? So our base fits are based on the offset running back. What if there is no offset running back? Here's our rule for pistol. For pistol, we want to tell them to vice the ball. Keep the ball between them. Track the back. Track the back, cloudy clear. If a linebacker says, what do they do if they're pistol? The answer is track the back, cloudy clear. As long as you keep the ball between us, if it's running front side, as long as the backside guy doesn't overrun it, and as long as this guy doesn't get caught in the trash and let the ball outside of him, you've got a chance to make the play. So here, pistol set, they want to keep the ball between 5 and 8. That's the goal. It's pistol. Whatever the track of the back, we're just going to follow him. Track the back, look for space. Don't overcoach it. Pistol, what do? Track the back. If there's a window, fill it. If there's a window, fill it. 8, don't overrun the ball. He stays backside, that's a great job. Don't overrun it. 5, front side, find space. Get to it. Trust your help. Trust that the ball will be forced back to you. Trust that people will do their job. Your job's to vice it. Same thing here. Pistol set, just keep the ball between us. Just keep the ball between us as best we can. Right now, 5's running. This 5 is running wide. So the linebacker 5 is running wide, but he sees a window. See the window? Fill the window. Cloudy clear. Cloudy clear. See it? Go get it. He's running wide, so I run wide. See the window? Fill the window. Backside backer, don't overrun the ball. Keep it between you. Vice the ball. And that's what we tell them in pistol. If we see inside zone, outside zone, that's our base way to stop it with pistol. There's no override rule. Cheat. Cheat is what we do if there's a yo, a Y off. It could be an H. It could be a tight end. We call them a yo. If they can create an extra gap, then we move over an extra gap. So when we cheat to the yo. Now, whoever's to the ball, whoever's to the yo, cheats over. The mic goes from a B4 to a C4. C gap, 4 yards. Still put your nose on the shoulder. The will goes over the ball. He stacks the nose. So we just tell him, cheat to A, cheat to C. Because there's 2 A gaps. He's cheating. Cheat into the A. Your tandems are still the same. You don't come off the tandem read. Here's my 2 in my tandem. Now for the will, he's got a little bit different. He's got both gaps. So we tell him, see the 3. You've got to see the big picture. You've got a little more protection because there's not a lot of action probably coming right now, A gap. So you've got to see these blocks and find the open A. You're still looking 1 to 2. You're still looking 1 to 2 because this block will tell you this tandem will tell you the initial block, and then 2 will tell you where the ball is going. Our rule is this, because these are the 2 concepts we see the most: lead zone and split zone. So if the Y stays home, the linebackers stay home. So if they're just gonna, as with the will reads this tandem, if the Y stays here and engages in a base block or a reach block, he's gonna stay here and be the C gap fitter. He's just looking for open A. The Y stays, we stay. Doesn't matter if it's to the mic or to the will, the rule stays the same. A gap and C gap, that's our base fit. If it's split zone, if the Y swipes back or falls back, then we can fall back. Because what are they trying to do? Kick somebody out here, make an extra gap. So if he falls back, we fall back. Then I become the C gap fitter, and I become the new A gap fitter. In this picture here, we're cheated. Cheat to C, cheat over the ball. He's reading this tandem. The yo stays, so the linebacker stayed. Both of them stay. So I fit C gap, and the stack backer is looking for A gap. He's got a C gap fit. He's looking for A. Key step. Again, be patient. Be patient and see what's going on. The front protects you. Patient, patient, patient. And then the ball comes to him. He's more of a fullback in this alignment. He's not really a Y. He's a true fullback. Doesn't matter. We treat it the same. We've cheated. We've cheated him to C. We cheat him over the ball. He stays, so we stay. C gap fitter, A gap fitter. I know if he stays, I'm fitting C gap. I know I'm looking for open A. He stays, we stay. In 27, G, that's Big Little Mike. He played at Jack Britt, freshman All-American. But this is the base fit. We're A gap, we're C gap. Nothing changes for us unless we get an override rule. All right, this guy changes. Watch the backers here. We've cheated. He moves. We just reset. We cheat. Nothing changes. If they want to do this, they want to yap the Y, we're okay. So now this backer has C gap. The stack backer still looking for A. Get into C gap there. Fit it. He stays, we stay. He stays, we stay. There. I fit C gap. I'm coming A gap. Now the B gap defender got reached out of there, so it winds up being a gap replacement, but he's still looking for space. He yaps, we yap. They stay, we stay. Fit it. He's got nowhere to go. Now, when they fall back, so as this backer is looking at his tandem, and 5 is seeing the 3 here, if we see the yo fall back, he will yell, swipe, 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 and he will point. We point because we want to see it on film. We know that he saw this guy fall back because he points it out. He points it. He saw it. He saw it. He's yelling, swipe, swipe, swipe. So when he falls back, we can fall back. They're trying to create a new gap. So right now, he's trying to come back here and kick out. So I fall back to C. I fall back to A. And we just fit as best we can. There. Outside guy, alley or D gap. I'm the C gap fitter. I'm trying to find A gap. It's kind of a wash, but that's where I'm at. And it comes right to him. Sometimes you don't have to fall back a great deal. You don't have to really move multiple yards. It may be a step or two because the offensive line will wash the defensive line down. There. He falls back, we fall back. He stays, we stay. Fall back. Notice they stay on the level. They're not running downhill. They key step and they move laterally on the level. The front protects them. Same thing here. Here's a yo. He falls back. They fall back. Now, he is going to fall back and kick out. So he's going to fall back to C. 33 is going to fall back to A. Watch where A gap is here. Watch the A gap. Watch where the ball winds up going. Right to A. He doesn't literally fall back. He doesn't shuffle steps to his left. He can stay put if there's enough of a wash, and it falls back right to him. He falls back, we fall back. 5 falls back to C, 33 falls back to A. If they stay, we stay. If he falls back, we fall back. Cheated to 42. cheated to 42. I'm the C gap fitter. I'm thinking in my mind, right now I'm a C gap player. I'm an A gap player. He falls back, 5 points it out, so we fall back. We're still only fitting A gap and C gap for the inside backers. Open A and cut back C, it's just declared now, A gap and C gap. So as 42 swipes across, we swipe back. C gap, A gap, somewhere in there, fit it. Hiding down here again, could be a fullback, could be a sniffer. We treat it the same. He doesn't have to be outside the tackle. When he falls back, now there's no one here to kick. He's going back and there's no one to kick out, so he's going to wrap. It doesn't matter. He's still fitting C gap and he's still falling back to A gap. So as he swipes back, there's no one to kick. He's still going to fit inside of him with C gap. Defensive line does a great job of building the wall. Backer makes him cut back into the jungle. And there's nowhere to go. Fall back. This is who I'm looking at. If he falls back, I yell swipe, 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 swipe. I point it out so the other backer knows, and we fall back together. That's your base fits. So when we talk base fits, it's open A, cut back C. If they have a yo, we cheat it, and we're A gap or C gap, either pre-snap or post-snap, based on what the yo does. The only two things that will take us off of our base fits is override, path or pull, the path of the back or an offensive lineman pulling. We don't teach, so far we haven't taught run plays, we've just taught concepts. We just teach them their reads. We don't teach specific plays. We teach the concept of the O-line and the path of the back. These are the override situations. If the gap moves, we move. That's what we teach them. So on outside zone or stretch, the gap is moving. Everybody is moving. They're ripping and running. They're turning sideways. The gap is moving. We can move. So if the back has an immediate path and the offensive line's going flat, then we can move with it. The front side backer is taught, get over the top of everything. Track the ball. Keep the ball between you and the backside backer. The backside backer is taught, you just track the ball inside out. Don't overrun it. We're still talking about a vice principle. Front side guy has to get over the top of all blocks because if not, he's going to get pinned. Pullers, one or more O linemen. It could be dart, power, any gap concept you like. The front side backer is going to hear the pull call from the backside backer. He gets vertical, splatter boxes the puller, and then the backside backer, the same rule. Track it inside out. Don't overrun the ball. That's the big thing, is not overrunning the ball. Examples of what we mean here. So for here, if they're turning and running this way and the back shoulders are east and west, the gaps are moving. This back is moving. There's no more open A, cut back C. It's out the gate, so we've got to move. I have to get over the top of all blocks. I have to track the ball and not overrun it. Doesn't matter what direction they go. If there's a puller, a single puller like dart, when the Mike, who's reading his tandem, sees the puller, he yells pull, he points it out. Front side guy gets vertical and splatter boxes it, and then he tracks the ball inside out. Don't overrun the ball. Ideally, they should box it. We say splatter box because if you get vertical and blow up the pulling lineman, the play is dead. But specifically, they need to box it. They need to be outside and force it back to the other backer who's coming. If it's speed option, the rules stay the same. The back, instead of going fast motion across the ball, he's fast motion away from the ball. I still got to get over the top of everything. I'm a quarterback player. If it's speed option, the outside backer is pitch. Backside backer is still tracking the ball inside out. Don't overrun it. If you get into GT counter, now you're pulling two linemen, and this could be any combination. It could be where they pull the yo, they could pull the fullback. It's still the same principle. There's pullers, front side guy, get vertical, splatter box the pull, backside guy, get over the top. Don't overrun the ball. So in this example here, They're reading their tandem to the back. The back shoulders go east and west. So they know now there is no open A, cut back C. We've got to start moving east and west. His shoulders are flat, so the backers can get flat. This backer gets over the top, makes some cut back here. This backside backer, don't overrun the ball. Keep the ball between us. Vice the ball. He's working to get over the top. Backside backer, don't overrun the ball. There's different ways to block outside zone in this front. They can pin and pull, they can reach. Sometimes they'll block it like inside zone, but still have the back run an outside zone track. That's why we read tandem to the back. The path of the back is what's taking you there. Path, pull, override. The path is wide, I can get wide. The gap moves, I can move. Same example here. The back shoulders go east and west. Frontside backer, get over the top. Backside backer, don't overrun the ball. He's going to try to get over the top of things, make him cut back to the backside backer. Notice we haven't talked a word about where the D line fits or where the DBs fit. It doesn't matter. They're running their concept. We try to make it as easy as we can. Path override. First guy, get over the top, vice the ball. Backside guy, don't overrun the ball. Keep it between us. If the D-line makes the play, great. Here's the back. Shoulders go east-west. 33 on this rep. This is a great job for him. Everyone's ripping and running. Don't overrun the ball. They're running fast. They're turning and going. Don't overrun the ball. Stay on his backside hip. Track the ball. The front side backer, he gets a little wild and goes over the top of everybody, but that's okay. That's what he's told to do. Get over the top of the blocks. Get outside of him and make him cut back to your buddy. If there's a D lineman or an outside backer involved, that's not your concern. The back is moving east and west. His path is lateral. Our path can be lateral. And because we don't run downhill with a 6-inch step or a reed step, we can stay on the level and stay out of the trash. Two back, it doesn't matter. You're still keying your tandem to the near back. So his back shoulders are flat. 6 gets over the top, feeds it back to 45. Get over the top of all blocks. Force it back to the backside backer. Vice the ball. Keep it between us. This one, they're pulling. Outside zone. Rule still fits. Vice the ball. If 6 fits it wrong, if he just runs vertical into this guy, you can see where he's going. That's why we preach it all the time. Get over the top of blocks. Make him cut back to your help. And if the help's not there, that's not your problem. That's the backside guy's fault. Pullers. When we talk about pullers, this is the only thing that takes us off our open A, cut back C track is a puller. So when you see a puller, because I'm looking at my tandem, I'm looking at this space. When I see the puller, guard or tackle, I yell pull, 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 and I point it out. 27, he's reading his tandem. He doesn't see the puller. But when he hears pull, he's going to get vertical right now, splatter box the first thing he sees, and 5 doesn't overrun the ball. What did we talk about earlier? Mentioned you have to attach a tight end to run the ball. You can't run it weak. You run out of people. You have to run it to an attached tight end on the ball. You have to run strong. If you run weak with gap scheme, you're a man short. But 5 does a great job. Pull, 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 stays on the level, doesn't run down, doesn't try to backdoor it, doesn't try to look for space, doesn't overrun the ball. 27, splatter box, goes right back to 5. This is the best example we have of what we mean by splatter box. If you hit the lineman and knock him out, then the rest of the fit doesn't really matter. If you can splatter him, splatter. Five points out the pull, 8 gets vertical. Pull, 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 run downhill, hit the first thing you see. And again, if you're trying to run gap scheme weak, you're a man short. If you don't attach a tight end, you're a man short. Here they're pulling a backside lineman and the Y. Should be just the backside lineman. And they're a man short. But all of this is caused because 8 got vertical right now. He didn't think, he got vertical and hit the first thing he saw, and then the fit didn't matter. Splatter box the puller. This particular front, we've moved the front over to have a C-gap defender, so they're going to run GT counter here. The fits don't change. The fits don't change. Pull, 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 get vertical, splatter the first thing you see, backside backer, don't overrun the ball. They stay on the level. Get vertical, make him cut back. Get vertical, front side guy, backside guy, don't overrun the ball. Splatter, and there it goes. Having this C-gap defender helps us versus run strong because now they still can't pick up the backside backer. Pull the backside gar and the Y. It's the cheat front for us. So right now we're thinking C gap, we're thinking A gap, but then when they pull, that changes our fit. Get vertical. Don't overrun the ball. Front side guy, here's pull. Pull, 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 get vertical. Hit the first thing you see. Backside guy, you have the vision. Don't overrun the ball. And without an attached tight end, doesn't matter if you're running to this guy or away from this guy, you don't have enough people in gap scheme. You're a man short. Now, it can be, a lot of times we see counter, power, but what if it's power read? Our kids don't know the difference. They just know someone's pulling. So they fit it just as they've been taught. So this is a power read rep. Pull, pull, pull. Front side guy gets vertical. He needs to splatter it. He needs to box it. So he's outside. And this backside backer is just not overrunning the ball. So if you're the quarterback here and you want to keep it, you keep it to an unblocked backer. Or you can try to run it yourself into this guy, or you can just hand it off. And if you hand it off, you hand it off into a leverage player. So we don't teach the guys, this is your fit versus power read. This is your fit versus GT counter. This is your fit versus power. All you see is a puller. When you see a puller, pull override rules. Front side guy, splatter box. Backside guy, don't overrun the ball. They don't know they don't know the play, they just know the concept. They know that there's a puller and they have to fit it the same way. Keeps the teaching down. Speed option. So now, as I read my tandem to the back, he's fast. He's fast to the side of the ball. He's not crossing the ball. We're quarterback players in our scheme. Speed option, get over the top, get to the quarterback. He's fast out the gate. I can be fast out the gate. And if he's coming to my side, it's probably speed option. Go get the quarterback. Stay over the top of all blocks and get to the quarterback. Same thing here. Wide split by the back. I'm reading my tandem to this tailback. The wide split should tell me something's up. If he's out the gate to my side immediately, get over the top of everything, fight to get over the top, and get to the quarterback. This guy's climbing, get over the top of him. And that's the critical thing. You're fit. Fit where you need to fit. If he tries to backdoor this guy, path of least resistance, it's going to rip. Get over the top. Get to your guy. The D lineman makes the play. The D lineman does a great job of getting off the block and coming to get him. The backer has to run his fit. Speed option, get over the top, get to the quarterback. Midline is a concept that a lot of teams will do against us because we're threes. What we mean by midline for us is this back can either go across or downhill. Most of the time it's downhill. They have divide action, which means as I look at my tandem, they split. This guy's coming down to crush the nose. This guy's climbing high to block the backer. Here's how we handle midline. The D tackle has to surf for the quarterback. As soon as he feels divide, he has to bounce out. He has to get width to take the quarterback. As soon as this inside backer sees divide, and there's only one thing in the world that looks like it, he's got to right now get his ass to the dive player. A lot of teams will do it differently. He feels the divide and he goes to get the quarterback. He goes to get the dive and this guy climbs. And when we go to get the quarterback, we're pinned and they've got us. This is why we have the backer on the dive and the quarterback surfing. He's got to pop out for quarterback. What if there's an athletic mismatch? It is what it is. Then it's an athletic mismatch. We still have to cover it with the D tackle. Otherwise, they've got us. So they're going after the midline in this three tech, this B gap player here. There's divide. They're not touching him. Right now, you run full speed and take the dive. This D lineman has to surf for the quarterback. Midline, go get it. You're not reading. You're not worrying who has the ball. When you see divide action, you run full speed and tackle the ball, tackle the dive, tackle the back. If the quarterback pulls it for 100 yards, that's not your problem as an inside backer. That's the D lineman's fault. Midline, divide, go. He's got to take him. If you did it the other way, if you tried to have him bend and take it and put him on quarterback, one of these two guys would seal you, and then we have a problem. I'm going to midline this three tech, this B gap defender here. Same thing, midline. Five's going. He doesn't care about the rest of the action. He doesn't care about the triple concept or anything else. He is going for that dive back, whether he has it or not. Right now, he is going for the dive back. That's all he cares about. He doesn't care about any of this other motion. The D lineman who's sitting there is going to surf for the quarterback. All this other stuff is not our problem for inside backers. Fit your responsibility. Midline, take it. If he's got the ball, it's a tackle. If he doesn't have the ball, not my problem. If you need to contact me, if you have questions about anything we've shown or want me to show you something else, you can contact me. It's best to just email me or hit me up on Twitter, and then I can follow up with some questions. If you have questions, you can put it in the chat, and that'd be fine too, and I'll get to answer those with it. But other than that, that's all I know. So that's our base fits in the bear front against most of the things that we see. It's not for everyone, but it's been good to us.
Yeah, Coach, I just opened up the chat. We'll give them a couple minutes if anyone wants to drop some questions in there. We have a little time to do that. Can you go can you go through your power read fits one more time?
Power read fit one more time. Yes, let me pull that back up. So power read for us fits like this. So as this guard's pulling, the front side backer's getting vertical right now. He's going to splatter box the first thing he sees. This guy's working on the level, not overrunning the ball. So if the quarterback were to pull it, he'd run into this guy. Or if he wants to try to run front side with it, we've got this guy coming. Now, 5 is pretty savvy. 5 knew it was power read and didn't get as vertical. He's starting to bail out. But he's still fitting it. We have 1 inside the puller. We have 1 outside the puller. And then if they hand it off, they're handing it off into an overhang, and that's not the inside backer's problem. One inside the puller, one outside the puller. And if the quarterback keeps it, he should be wrong no matter which way he goes. He's either going to go into this guy or he's going to go into this guy. Let him hand it off. Let him hand it off and let the leverage people handle it. So that's how we handle power read. And we don't tell the kids it's power read or counter or power. They just know there's a puller. I've got to get vertical, and I can't overrun the ball with it.
Another question here. I'm assuming the overhangs box pullers. Do you box all pullers in the bear?
Yes. So for us, we box everything. The outside backers are always forced. They box any puller. The inside backers box everything as well. We've talked about, can we spill with the inside? Can we box with the outside? We just keep it all the same. We box everything. Feed the box is what we say. If he's trying to kick you out, set a hard edge, feed the box, make it run back inside. Because there's all those D linemen sitting in there. There's not a lot of space or gaps where it can kind of jump through. So we box everything.
How do you teach and drill surf technique?
Our D-line coach, who's also the head coach, Coach Kuhn, does it in pods every day. Pods is just two offensive linemen on a D lineman, and they just work divide. So when the D lineman feels divide, he sticks his foot in the ground, gets his eyes to the quarterback, and jumps out with width. So we just practice it every day as part of the pods. That's the best way to do it. He's got to see it every day and feel it every day to understand when it happens. Same thing with the inside backers. We know it's coming, so it's part of our normal teaching process. There's only one thing in the world that looks like divide. When these two guys split, there's only one concept that's coming. It's midline, whether they're running the back on an outside zone track or downhill more like a veer track. The back set is irrelevant. The concept is what's happening, and that's what we teach is the concept. So Coach Kuhn does it every day in pods.
Will you blitz out of this to get TFLs? If so, what kind of blitzes and how often?
We will blitz out of it. We don't blitz a lot. We try to stay as much as we can in our bear structure with quarters. We can send the outside backers on a dive track, which is the easiest thing to do. We can send the corner and the outside backer as well and move the front along with it. Outside of that, we don't do a lot of run blitzes. The front structure is tricky enough for offenses to handle with it. We've done studies where we look at all of our blitz calls and all of our stunt calls and the base call. And over the years, the best structure and the best defense for us has been just play bear four. That's been the least amount of rushing yards given up, the least amount of passing yards given up. When you blitz or stunt, you're going to get home, but if not, it rips and it sucks. So we don't do it a lot.
How much would this change if you played in fours instead of threes? And have you done this with fours ever?
So we will play a four. Sometimes we'll play. If by four you mean 4-0-4, like head up on the tackle, we don't have anything for that. We find that for this to work effectively, you have to be 303. You have to be heavy on the guards. The wider you get, four eyes inside shade of the tackles, fours, head up on the tackles. The guards have free reign. They can get to the inside backers cleaner. They have multiple ways to block it. It's not as good for us. You can do a lot of damage out of those fronts, but for us, it's easier to teach and defend offenses staying in threes. We'll check to a four-eye automatically versus a three-man surface just because there's a three-man surface and they're probably going to down block you. So we put them in a four-eye to help versus the down block. But other than that, we keep them as heavy in threes as we can. We don't want to vary from our structure.
Do you have a designated fourth rusher, or is it based on a call, or you would drop 8 as a base?
Okay, so coverage, so our base coverage, yes, the designated rusher is the inside backer. We drop that off of 3. So we find whoever number 3 is in the formation, that backer drops, the opposite backer adds on. We drop that off of 3 because he's the only one who doesn't have a vertical accounted for him. So he would handle, most of the time it's the back. He would handle the back vertical, or he would be the drop off of 3 if it's like a tray set. The safety has him vertical, but he's still going to drop because the other back would be the add-on with nobody to defend.
Do you feel the offense gets too many yards on each play since your linebackers are not downhill?
No, we gave up 2.3 a rush.
If drop back pass shows, when do the inside linebackers trigger for contain?
I presume it's contain on like sprint out. So if it's, I presume that if it's sprint out or boot, anything outside pocket, if they go outside pocket, the front side backer triggers right now and goes and gets it. We don't wait. The backside backers flipping and finding any crossers. But if they were to do any outside pocket concept, the inside backers are the ones who boom the quarterback and go and get them. We don't wait. We go right now. If we're talking contain and just in pass, if it's drop back pass, ball off the line, then we really only have one add-on backer going. He's just looking for the best space to get to launch point. The other backer, if there is a scramble, he's just got to get there and make them right.
Do you utilize any even structures? If so, do the inside linebackers fit stay the same?
The only time we'll use an even front concept, we'll get into under front. Usually for us, that's a two-back call, like 21 or 12. We'll get into under, and then the backers it's a regular four down front. We're gapped out. Your gap is your fit. We will do that at times. There's certain formations that we like that too. We don't want to do it a lot because it changes the run fit, so we don't want to bounce in between bare fit, underfit, bare fit, underfit. We want to keep it consistent. The bare fit is where we make most of our hay in this defense. We can get into under in certain circumstances, but we don't want them to do a lot of under because it'll build bad habits of running downhill into the gap.
Absolutely. I think we got to them all, Coach. And obviously, you let out your contact information. Hold on, one just came in. Are the 2-3 techs expected to pass rush outside to keep the quarterback in the pocket, or is the inside linebacker away from number 3 expected to more or less spy rush?
We tell them B gap to bounce. And I think I can draw on this. Oh, good, I can draw on this. We tell the 3 techs, you have B gap to bounce. This is a really amazing drawing. So as he's going and these guys are pass setting, he's going to stay heavy in the B gap. If this tackle comes down and wants to get involved with it, we tell him to bounce. B gap to bounce. Now, if this guard completely oversets him, we can have him snap inside because if the quarterback bubbles, he's going to wind up bubbling to the backer. But for the D line, we tell him B gap to bounce.
More about it. Just ask if we can get you on again to talk more about this defense.
That's up to you, G. You're a busy man.
No, absolutely. We'll definitely make it work. Definitely make it work. So, no, I agree. Yeah, a lot of positive feedback for sure. But there's his contact information, guys. Like you said, if you have any more follow-up questions, feel free to reach out to him on Twitter or his emails right there. But appreciate you coming back on. Yeah, we'll definitely get Coach Cox back up here, man, especially being in the study and all. So it's one of the best backdrops. I was talking, it's funny, Coach was talking before, he said one of the funniest part is like just seeing everyone's different backdrop. I mean, that's official though.
Well,
I've seen some good ones, man.
It's my neighbor's house. They don't know I come down here.
I appreciate you coming through, Cox, and all the coaches that took the time out to get in here and talk some ball, man. It was awesome. Once again, man, I've been saying it all day. These coaches obviously are giving their contact information out for a reason. When we're in a time period like this and we have more time on our hands, utilize it. Utilize these resources because when things go back into live action, man, people are not as available. So take the opportunity now while guys have a little more time on their hands. But once again, man, thank you. We'll definitely get you back on.